Good day, everyone. This is Abyssal Tech with what is a surprise to you all, another simulation game. This one is called Seafarer, the ship sim. And as you can see, I'm on a boat. So like a lot of the train sims, this is about moving cargo basically from point A to point B, which definitely pushes some odd buttons in my brain that are like, yes, you find this fun. Why, I ask my brain. I will not tell you, but you find this fun. And here we are. So, the game just released in early access the other week, and I've had some time to play around with it. And yeah. So, you got as you can see, it does have a HUD-less mode and a HUD. So obviously these guys realized you're going to be wanting to take some pictures. So, you got right now a selection of 6 ships to choose from. Only one of them is actively the one that you move cargo on. The rest are ones that you perform various work around the port, mostly, it seems, security stuff. So, security, firefighting. Tugboat work. This guy looks fun. I'm wondering what all that it does. Looks like it's the same tasks, but it definitely looks like more a high-end ship. And then you have a straight-up fire tug. So, good thing to have around if anything catches fire. Because most ships, when fire hits, it's a bad deal. But yes, right now you only have this one cargo ferry type ship that can handle cargo. So, good things here. Starting out, you can upgrade the ship for money. Money's fairly easy to come across. If you're ever finding yourself running short, just do a few loading and unloading jobs. As you can see, it has an interesting configuration here, where instead of your propeller rudder drive system, you have variable position thrusters. So each one of these so there's one here, 2 on the stern. Each of them is, well, not quite independently positioned. You can move the bow and the stern ones independently or together to actually pull off some pretty tight turns, which is nice, you know. But unfortunately, the game doesn't actually teach you how to do that. You gotta kind of learn it all on your own. But you can, as you see, you can upgrade the ship, go a little faster, consume a little less gas, a little bit easier maintenance. Hopefully in the future you could do some more customizations on the ship, like especially colors, change the name, you know, maybe some just cosmetics, gear and kit. Because I mean, it's actually a pretty cool ship here. Let me take you on a little bit of a tour here. By the way, you do have an avatar. Very well dressed. You can't climb a ladder, but you can walk down these ones. You get a lot of neat little tooltips like this, although it doesn't actually do anything. So, you can walk down here, look at the various things on the boat. while not all interior spaces are highlighted, like a lot of these doors you just can't do anything about. What's up here? Nobody knows. What's with these big tanks? I don't know. There's something yellow on the other side. What could it be? I don't know. But you can get back here. You have your main engineering space. Check the condition of your engines. Whatnot. This is actually kind of key to do, because if you don't keep these things maintained, they'll kind of quit out on you. We'll get into it a little more later.
Ahoy!
Hello?
Captain?
Yes, I'm the captain.
Reporting for duty.
Okay, what do you do? Also, nobody knows. Yeah, this door would lead up the port side of the ship. Can't go through there, of course. Let's see. Little cubby back there. Don't know. What's up there? Don't know. Got a bit of a workshop here. Obviously, the devs intend to have you do something. The sailor in me is looking at that tool board and being just like, I'm cringing a bit. You take one good roll, and this room is it is going to be very hazardous to your health to be in this room. Oh God, nothing is stowed for sea. Crud.
Hello.
Hello to you too. Go away. All right. Fortunately, you also don't have to. One thing they did include is you don't have to walk all the way from the bridge to the engine room and back. You can just teleport. Yay! I am a magical creature. So here's the map of this entire area. They need to have a little bit of a zoom in key like they do in Derail Valley. So you can just be like, I want to focus on this and look at it a little more. But they don't have that yet. They do have binoculars, so let's try that. There we go. You guys need higher res textures here. Cups, no. There's mugs that actually are for use on a vessel. But yes, this, as you can see, everything is very well detailed. This isn't, while a lot of this stuff you can't interact with, it is definitely, it's visually there. While they might improve on the textures, they're not totally lost. Sound the horn. There's a searchlight. I don't know what it does. Oh, I'm guessing it's a light. Just turn that off for now. The controls are weird. So you figure this is your throttles here. You can't directly interact with them. You got a lot of this stuff you can though. Oh. Get to know how deep it is. That is quite useful. One other real quick thing that I'll do, I should have done before I took you all the way down into the engine room. Oh, it's kind of getting foggy here. This is the first real weather I've seen. They got staterooms here. It's pretty basic things. Yeah. Once again, bag not stowed for sea. Plant not stowed for sea. Laptop nuts. There might be Velcro on the bottom of that. I don't know. Very European style power outlet. But yeah, these two staterooms are the one, a little bit of a wardroom here. Actually, not a stateroom. But these are the only ones currently modeled on this ship. I haven't had a chance to really explore too many of the other ships yet. But if you walk around front, see it. And there's clearly something, a room there that they probably just haven't done anything with yet. So, yeah, very detailed, very nice. So, let's do a job here. Let's do ferry cargo.
Let's roll.
Alright. Looks like I gotta go from this berthing over there. Alright, then I can actually get to show you guys the engine settings. So, let's go that. Yep, that. Kind of push myself away from the pier. Obviously, while this ship is quite clearly capable of moving sideways, you're not going to move sideways at speed. Just move, get clear of this berthing. Engines shut. And I'll just drive backwards. Get into this new berth. So. The game is, well, like I said, you have to have that very specific brand of autism to find this game truly fun. Where something in your mind is, because, yeah, you have to like moving cargo. You have to like logistics. And that's where I think this game will truly shine once it hits full release. If, like, what I'd like to see is you basically are one in charge of, you're not taking jobs per se, but you're individually buying and selling in cargo. Like, you're like, okay, I will take, okay, that I can take this load of grain or canned food from this port to this port for this money, or machine parts from this port to this port for this amount of money. But at this, if I take well, the canned food is less. If I take it to this port, there's some more valuable goods there that I can pick up and take to another port, you know? So you're a little bit like a stock trader, but with cargo containers, you know? That's kind of what I would like to see in this. I'm aware that they do have other ships planned. I'm assuming they're, because in the tutorials they mention connecting pumps and pipes to valves and hoses and whatnot, that LNG carriers or oil tankers are going to be ships you can also drive. I personally like to see a bulked goods freighter of some kind. You know? Maybe not something you'd find in a Scandinavian port, even. If they... Hell, if they'd include a Great Lakes freighter, or even as like a, hey, you want on this, it's a DLC, weird ships that don't belong here. That would be interesting. The old Great Lakes freighters were pretty unique in that they had their, unlike a lot of cargo ships, they had their bridge forward and your engineering section all the way aft. So, alright, well, I should probably start slowing down a little bit. Does it say how my displacement? No, it doesn't. That would be nice to know. So yeah, but this is obviously maybe 1,500, 2,000 ton ship. Probably a little less than that. Well, it's a lot quicker to maneuver than a big ship. Obviously does not stop on a dime. One thing of note is a lot of your wave and wake effects seem to be a little bit exaggerated. Moving at 5 to 8 knots, I'm not going to be throwing up this kind of wake. Start bringing me back here, lining things up. You know, speaking of Derail Valley from earlier, one of the locomotives I have the most fun driving, I find to be the most useful, not the most useful, but it's just overall enjoyable, because it's more complicated, you got more to do, it's not just push lever forward, make train go faster type deal. You know, you actually have to manage boiler pressures. Obviously, it's the fucking steam locomotive. So, yeah. Why not kind of capitalize on that kind of thing and throw in a tall ship? By tall ship, I obviously mean something that uses sails for main power. Obviously far different from a cargo carrier and might be a little tricky to bring it actually into the game. But you know what? I think I would find it fun. One thing I do like is that there's definitely, as you drive a ship, you definitely are building skills. Because you got to think about how the entire ship is going to move in response to your controls. That's fun. Straighten up, kill the engines. Well, I probably could have docked earlier. You know. So right now we have kind of a little mini game that you have to do, where you have to crane the load over to your ship. This might be one where a couple people find things annoying. But once you get in the habit, you can get pretty good and quick at it. So one nice thing is the trucks that are bringing the cargo over, they will try to line up with wherever your cargo is currently located. The crane is currently located. More than one crate to load, unload. And you can really speed things up a bit. Looks like I'm just loading 2 containers today. As you can see, it can get to swinging quite a bit, but as you practice, you get used to it. There's a little camera there. That thing's almost useless. Ship, because obviously you just don't want to have these things sitting on top of each other. You gotta strap them down. So there's these locks that physically hold it all together, and then you got these big lashing strap things that kind of provide will provide tension. You know, so you have the thing physically locked down at that point, and then the strap hooking in there provides some more downward force, you know, some good tension. Because obviously if one of these things breaks loose, it can cause quite a bit of damage, not just to the ship,
we're leaving now,
but to other cargo containers. It can fall off, which obviously then it's lost, and you're not going to get any money for it. Truly the most horrible of fates. You could steer from either internal or external. Obviously I like the external view. Controls are pretty much exactly the same. sure I have some spare parts. Because, yeah, this thing is, a lot of times these boats are overworked and a little older than they need to be. So, gently, gently move the boat away. You don't actually have to do it like this. You could just kind of peel out if you want, or as much as a big ship like this can peel out. But this is my channel. This is my video, and I'm gonna do it this way. So suck it, Trebek. Water effects, usually not very bad. There needs to be a key to use the horn in this situation. By the way, that big, rather large building there is a shipyard. So yeah, you can actually see the slipways. The ship will slide out backwards from there into the water. And it looks like they got a couple different launch configurations they could do. I assume that as the game develops further, there might be a kind of more of the rules of the road thing that you're scored on when you do a cargo run. Like staying under posted certain speed limits in port and whatnot. Because the whole no wake zone thing is definitely a thing. Why is my boat twitching? My camera twitching? I don't know. It's a very nice looking ship though. At least I think so. It's definitely got a little bit of a homely feel to it, you know. This is a ship you expect to find a ragtag crew of people who might be of dubious backgrounds, all trying to scrape a living in this cold, cruel world. Something like that. As you can see, the shipyard in question, obviously very big commercial hub. I think this one is kind of loosely based around San Francisco. So, yeah, some large buildings off in the distance there. Some kind of tower over there. A bridge that suspiciously looks like it's a shade of metallic yellow, possibly golden. Or copper, yeah. Some people can't afford golden bridges. And it's a little hazy, so you can't quite see it just yet. There's a structure right on the front that almost of this land. I want to say it's an island here. That kind of looks like it might be a prison, or it might have been a prison of some kind. I.e. like Alcatraz. while it's still fairly crude in a lot of ways, like, there's a bird flying underwater right there. The ports that I've seen so far look fairly lively. Like, you might have other traffic that you see. It's not just there's some boats over there and they never move. On some of these, you actually have other boats doing boat things. So you can occasionally see people in cars moving around. Granted, they're moving in a the people that you do see moving are moving in a fairly robotic fashion. But at least they're there. That's one thing that really breaks the immersion for me in a lot of simulator games. You're
Let me know if something
in the
doesn't go
world,
to plan.
and you have to deal with her. Oh, streamers. Lovely. Yeah, I'm not going to show you the full voyage. I'm just going to kind of drive out to the bay, show you the map feature. Because I don't think you guys have the time, want to spend all that time watching me do this. I do. That's why I'm playing the game in the first place, but... yeah. Like I reiterated, things I would love to see: ship customization. The fact that we can do upgrades is nice. I haven't seen any weather other than this kind of haze. I've not seen any real weather yet. So that's definitely something, if it's not already in the game, I would love to see, you know, like, get weather reports. Hey, there's storm here, all ships seek shelter or whatnot, or you have to hide out in a port. As kind of other maritime activities, you know, responding to SOSs, even as a ship that, not a rescue ship, like another boat's in trouble, I just stand by to help them out as needed. That would be fun. Just some little random mission that pops up on as you travel along, you know, boat in distress, go to her aid. There is a fast travel. I'm probably going to use it here as soon as I leave the port to get to the new place. I'll pull up your map here and you see you do have some points of interest, unknown locations and whatnot, that the game would actually reward you if you go to. So, see, I got a star there. That's because I went to that bay and it was quite lovely. There's a Gibraltar almost looking location here. So looks like I'm gonna, on the stage 2 of my mission, I'm gonna get to drive over there. I might just have to drive over there anyway. Alright, finally starting to clear the yard. So some gas containers there, probably LNG. You're starting to see what I think was a prison. Oh yes, crew. So supposedly you can hire people as crew. Right now on this ship there's the position of an officer, probably like an officer of the deck type deal, and an engineer. They are capable of leveling up. I don't know what would cause that. obviously more expensive. I don't really know what they do. There is no tooltips or noticeable stat improvements. I have an engineer on board, so I don't have to screw with keeping the engines running. You still see maybe she keeps things from going south so quickly. Maybe she can take care of other basic maintenance. I don't know. I have never seen her do anything. So, maybe the officer of the deck would let you run autopilot. Basically, you no longer have, because that is one thing you have to make sure you do. The ship, you can't just point the ship in one direction and it will keep going. Because you'll have wind, you have to, it does count for winds and currents and stuff. So, constant adjustment. In fact, during the tutorial, one of my big peeves was because, well, I had to go fix the engines because the engines were having a moment. The wind and a current almost blew my ship right into shore. And I'm just like, I know this is not a one-man show here. There's got to be someone who could be just like, keep the boat pointed in this direction. But no. Yeah, so thanks, like I said, thanks to the thruster system, this is actually a very agile ship. Lovely little town. You could, let me switch to internal view. See? Unlike most of my train sim games, you got cars, you got people. They're doing stuff. Just having that extra motion is so entertaining. Definitely helps with the immersion. There's that one building I was telling you about that kind of looks like a prison. Might not be a prison, but it does look very old-timey, so. I dig the red brick. I really do. My wife does too. Now that we're on course 090, let's go ahead. That does not lead over land. There we go. Join that conga line there. Well, that was a thing that just happened. All right, let's try that again. cool. This works. Let's see if it actually steers me onto my waypoint that I want. Cool. So what I typically do is I turn down. Okay, so I see what's going on now. If I stop fast travel,
It's easy to lose your sense of scale on a ship like this.
it kills all remaining waypoints. Good to know. Good to know. All right. Yeah. I usually just, when I'm sailing along, I usually just steer with my bow thruster. Use the sterns to push me forward, front, little side to side. As you can see, I'm starting to drift to port here. So just give it a little bit. And we're back on course. Eventually. Anyway, that's just been a basic rundown of this game right now. Some of the things I'd like to see. And I just noticed I've been at this for well over half an hour. So, okay. I will catch you ever. Thank you for stopping by. If you actually find what I'm saying even slightly interesting, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that every other YouTuber says in their videos. And I will catch you next time. Peace.